Welcome back, everyone. Glad to see you're thirsty for more knowledge. In this lecture, we'll talk specifically about the implications of blockchain technology for human resource management. I hope you're ready. Buckle up. Let's do it. Why should HR managers care about blockchain? Well, this is an excellent question. I would start by saying that HR managers should not only care about blockchain, but to a certain extent, they should even be somewhat frightened by blockchain. I say frightened because blockchain tech has the potential to automate some HR jobs. Not completely out of existence, but there will certainly be less need in the future for HR assistants to do a lot of the administrative and manual work that used to be done. Personally, I think this is a good thing. HR should be more strategic and less administrative. Traditionally, the primary function of HR was to administer payroll. With the blockchain-based solution in place, that function can be almost fully automated, aside from the HR information systems people whose responsibility is to maintain the functionality of the blockchain HR platform. Make no mistake, blockchain will literally revolutionize HR and employment going forward. Once the technology is widely adopted in the industry, HR will never be the same again. Textbooks will literally have to be rewritten because the old rules of HR management simply won't apply anymore. Okay, so what's an example of how blockchain tech will change HR? Well, where do I even begin? There are so many examples, it's difficult to even pick just one. All right, let's start with the payroll because it was just mentioned in the last slide. Today, most companies use an HR payroll system to pay employees directly into their bank accounts. When you start working for an employer, the HR department or someone in the HR department will typically ask you to complete a form with your bank details on it so that they can arrange automatic payments. Your bank, in this sense, acts like something of a middleman between you and your employer. The use of a blockchain-based payroll solution can effectively cut out the middleman. There will be no necessity for a bank anymore because your employer can pay you directly using tokens or bitcoins or whatever financial instrument that you want to be paid in. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be Ethereum. You could be paid in a cryptocurrency that is, for example, pegged to the national currency. Direct payments through a secure and immutable blockchain will reduce transaction costs, thus benefiting employers as well as employees. The banks, of course, will become the big losers, obviously. What's so bad about banks? Well, that's a bit of a loaded question. There are a lot of problems with banks, especially if you live or work in a country in which there are regular runs on the bank. Imagine a German expatriate, for example, living and working in Buenos Aires, Argentina, during the economic crisis. If his company administers his pay into a bank in Argentina, he may be locked out of his account if the banks close due to a run on the banks. Moreover, his employer may struggle to even figure out how much to pay him or her because of the rampant hyperinflation that typically accompanies an economic crisis. When the cost of goods is increasing daily, should HR pay the expat in the local currency or just make adjustments for inflation? Imagine how easy it would be to pay the expat using a blockchain-based solution. You could continue to pay him or her in whatever blockchain units, maybe a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the euro or something like that. And the expat could automatically receive the funds and use them however he or she sees fit. I see. Well, how else can blockchain tech change HR? Well, let me give you another example, which builds on the payroll example that I just gave you. Imagine a future in which employment contracts are no longer written documents as they are now. So-called smart contracts, popularized by Ethereum, could very well replace the traditional employment contract someday. In fact, already some organizations in the so-called gig economy are using smart contracts to pay their contractors. The payments can be made contingent on a series of if-then statements built directly into the code. For example, imagine that you work for Uber Eats or some other delivery company. You receive a request for an order of pickup from the app. Uber Eats knows exactly when you arrive at the restaurant to pick up the food. The smart contract might estimate the average travel time between the restaurant and the house and pay out a bonus if the driver arrives within the average time. Moreover, Uber Eats knows exactly when the driver arrives at the house and can immediately pay the driver, again without any transaction costs or the need to go through a bank. Do you have any other examples of how blockchain tech can change HR? Honestly, I haven't even gotten started. That's how influential this technology will be. Let me give you another example. Many companies are increasingly keeping track of employee skills development. HR departments are keeping inventories of the knowledge, skills, and the abilities of their employees. For example, if an employee gets certified in a particular skill, say learning a coding language like R, or learning to speak Arabic or something like that, then his or her skills inventory can then be updated. If a project then comes up where that particular skill will come in handy, then the employer can simply reach out directly to the employee with that skill. But how does HR really know that an individual has acquired that skill? How does an HR manager really know for sure that an employee is, for example, fluent in Arabic? Using a blockchain-based solution, these credentials can be certified and validated through the blockchain. Moreover, if the employee moves to another company, that skills inventory can simply be transferred to the new company, and there will be no need to recertify the skills acquisition. That does sound pretty cool. Could blockchain be used to store an employee's entire work history? Yes, I was just going to mention that. I think this is where you will see the most revolutionary change in the future. Blockchain tech will dramatically alter the recruitment and selection of employees. At the moment, there's an information asymmetry between job applicants and employers. The employers simply don't know much about job applicants, and the job applicants can't always locate a particular job advertisement. Now, imagine a future where each individual puts his or her entire CV on the blockchain, the entire resume on the blockchain. I'm talking about degrees, work experience, skills, honors, awards, achievements, letters of recommendation, even performance appraisal scores, all verified and all contained on a secure, unalterable platform. With such a system in place, job applicants won't even need to apply for jobs anymore. Employers can just scan the blockchain to identify potential employees that they need. The old days of constantly having to supply certified copy of your degrees, for example, and repeatedly supplying letters of recommendation will soon be gone. Best of all, individuals, that is to say, job applicants or employees, will have complete control over what information they share on the blockchain. Will employee data be secure on the blockchain? Yes, extremely secure. Obviously, no electronic platform is 100% secure, but the chances of a data breach using blockchain tech are far, far less than in the current HR information system environment. Hacking is, of course, a huge problem for companies today. Passwords can be easy to guess, laptops can be stolen or accidentally left on a train, IT systems can be breached, and when they are breached, huge amounts of personal data or personnel data can be released, creating an enormous liability for the employer. Some employers even store personal medical information about employees, for example, disability status and recommended reasonable adjustments or accommodations. Such information, were it released publicly, would be a disaster for the employer. But using blockchain tech, the employee can be in complete control of what information goes on the blockchain. When an employee moves from one company to another, she can even erase that data so that the former employer no longer has access to it. In short, the blockchain can dramatically empower individual employees or job applicants. That's awesome. How can I put my employee information on the blockchain? Well, hey, I'm just an academic. I'm interested in thinking and writing about these ideas and exploring the uses of new technologies in the context of the world of work and employment. You, on the other hand, have the potential to actually put these ideas into action. But make no mistake, blockchain is going to dramatically change the face of HR. If you don't put these ideas into action, somebody else will, trust me. This is one of those innovations that comes along only once in a blue moon. I see blockchain-based HR solutions as a major opportunity to disrupt the industry and at the same time to optimize HR decision making. The future is in your hands. This is Professor Andrew R. Timming signing out.